And welcome back into the Covelli Center. We're at the end of this one. The Stars take a 5-2 loss to the Youngstown Phantoms. I'm now joined by head coach of the Stars, Cody Chupp, for Coach's Comments brought to you by Southside Auto Tech. And Coach, it seemed like this game was relatively even going into the third period. A little differential here or there, but that last minute goal there by Youngstown at the end of the second seemed to really swing things.
Yeah, you know what it did, and ultimately this game was a game of self-infliction, and too many of their goals came because of our mistakes or our unwillingness to lock into our game, and we had to work for ours, and it's just a team like Youngstown that keeps coming in waves, and it's very difficult to come back from a situation where you're giving them freebies, and I feel like we've had this conversation quite a bit, but that's where the frustration lies. And this one is, we were in a game where we created a good push in the second and found a way to dig ourselves back into it, and then all of a sudden they get a last-minute goal. But our response was not to embrace our game. All of a sudden, we started to try to hit home run passes, and we started to play one-on-one hockey, and we cost ourselves because we weren't locked in. We were trying to do things on our own. We were trying to find the easy way to generate scoring chances, and it's a very tough way to play. Ultimately, you end up giving more than you produce.
Seemed like in that first period there was a lot of opportunities that just ended up missing, or were shot just wide. Maybe a deflection had something to do with it, but it seemed like you guys came out with at least a little bit of buzz to start the game, but then again just couldn't seem to play some of those shots, whether that's credit to the Youngstown defensive effort or just chances that just weren't capitalized on. How do you fix that tomorrow in terms of just getting some of those shots to go?
Yeah, I think staying consistent in the way that we play is important, because if everyone's on the same page, now we're predictable, and that allows us to play a smooth transition game. It allows us to do things right in the offensive zone, and I thought through our first two periods we played with a little bit of sandpaper, and that was a good response. And it's ultimately, I think it's a team that is struggling to find out how to win hockey games, and I talked about our response to their late goal in the second and how we came out in the third. We were a different group in the third than we were in the first two periods, and I think anybody watching will tell you that there was just something different about our game in the third. And credit to Youngstown, and they are prepared to win hockey games or to play with a lead, and their systems change. They force you to play through 5 guys every single time. There's room to skate to start your transition, but ultimately, if you don't allow the puck to do the work, you just run into a pile of people and layers of defensive players. So we all of a sudden, tried to change our game on the fly, and it wasn't a product of a team change. It was just guys going a little bit rogue, and you just can't have guys go rogue out there, because it makes it tough on the other 4 guys that are on the ice with them. And ultimately, like I said, we end up giving up chances, trying to force the game rather than just simplify our transition game, get into the offensive zone, and then do things right from there. And the first 2 periods are evidence that if we lock into the right way to play, if we lock into quick and simple transition, bringing speed to the puck, getting the puck in the offensive zone, and then pressuring their D, we generated a lot of great chances for ourselves. We just have to stick to the process.
Last one for you. This is another, back-to-back with the same team. Do you see any advantage in that? I know both sides have the same schedule, so to speak, but do you see any kind of, again, as a coach, just from your angle, any kind of teaching moments overnight? Obviously, you don't have a lot of time, but the fact that you're seeing the same group, the same systems, and getting a second chance effectively, do you see that as an advantage?
Yeah, there's a lot of teaching moments, but our teaching moments are a little bit universal right now, and what I mean by that is it really doesn't matter who we're playing tomorrow. We have to stop shooting ourselves in the foot, and I don't want to sound like a broken record here, but everybody on the same page is an extremely important thing. And if you look at a team like Youngstown, they come in waves. They have 4 lines. Their top line is dangerous offensively. but they have 4 lines that just keep rolling over the boards and doing things right. And they've found success by building a culture of hard work and effort, and they're consistent in that. Where their consistency was kind of where our shortcomings were tonight. We weren't as consistent as they were in our effort and in our ability or willingness to do things as a group.
All right, Coach, as always, we appreciate the time, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.